Greeting, YouTube. Apparently, the Russian parliament, Duma, really likes the idea of domestic violence. Not just trying to prevent it, of course, but actually encouraging it. Uh, this is from January, and I believe this bill has actually been signed into law by the despotic dictator Putin. Um, they actually want to make sure that if a man beats his wife, so long as it doesn't do severe bodily harm or doesn't actually skirt uh, the edge of rape, then it's okay. Um, and some of the information in this, crud, I hate this site. There we go. It's U.S. Today, and boy, is it just covered with interactive aspects, which are a pain in the butt. Give me 1 second here. It's probably going to start auto-playing on me, isn't it? Quickly go here. Go. There we go. Now I don't care if auto-plays. They even give you a helpful little sub-screen, so you can't avoid watching the video, even though if I can successfully avoid listening to it. Anyona Popova, activist and women's rights advocate, lamented that this attitude is widespread in Russia. The Moscow Times reported traditional, or rather archaic, values have become popular again. And then some more information. Even Russian police are often reluctant to get involved in domestic violence cases, which many regard as meddling in family affairs. If you are preventing violence, you are not meddling. You are doing the moral and ethical thing. In November, prosecutors began investigating a police officer who took a call from a woman complaining about her boyfriend's aggressive behavior. Instead of offering help, the officer reportedly told the woman that the police would only come to her if she got killed. Shortly thereafter, the man beat the woman to death, the AP reported. Now, remember that this kind of an attitude is going to tell women, and of course minors, that the state does not support them, does not care if they are harmed. It's a very clear message. We will not come to your aid. You are on your own. And I can guarantee you, if some member of these families decide, I've had enough, and fights back against an aggressive man in this who has this kind of an attitude and behavior, they will be more harshly punished than the man himself who has beaten one of his own family members to death. I can guarantee you that will happen. Because these are all part and parcel of the toxic masculinity and the patriarchy, of enforcing traditional behaviors and helping to further those narratives that the man is in charge of his family, that it's a little fiefdom, that he's the king, they are all his vassals, and he can do anything he frigging well wants to them, as opposed to treating children and domestic partners, or I should say women, because in Russia there are no same-sex domestic partnerships really anymore. Just saying that these situations, these relationships, this is how they are. If you are a child, if you are a woman, you have no rights in a relationship. So this baffles me why you would want to get into one. I have an acquaintance in Russia, and she is distraught over this particular bill. I shared it with her, and I was chatting with her about it, and I can't blame her. Who wouldn't be distraught over this kind of thing? And there are people that in other countries, the enlightened West, that would sign up to this in a heartbeat. And yet, both in Russia and America, they are deeply, deeply against Sharia law. And yet, here you go. This is the same thing. In Russia, it would be considered Orthodox Christian values. In America, it would be considered just general, generic Christian values. But they're the same things. Saying that the man is in charge and he can do anything he wants to within his family. It is sick and warped and vile. And I don't know how you fight it when the state itself says it's okay to beat your wife or girlfriend.